look, there is, of course, a lot of politics swirling around this case from day one, and Aryama Sundaram also joins us to get a little legal perspective on this, because, and so does Sanjay Hegde. Viewers, look, the courts, while denying bail to Mr. Sisodia, made certain written observations, and they're sort of written into the body of the order, and they are of a scathing nature. Aryama Sundaram, let me just quote a little bit out to you. With regards to Mr. Sisodia, Kejriwal's deputy, the putative number 2 in the Delhi government till recently, drew him into this and said that a payment of 90 to 100 crores was, quote, meant for him and his other colleagues, unquote, in the Delhi government. It also noted that of kickbacks amount to about 20-30 crores found to have been routed through various accused persons, and, quote, in turn, certain provisions of the excise policy were permitted to be tweaked and manipulated. That's the fundamental word. By the applicant to protect and preserve the interest of the South liquor lobby and to ensure repayment of kickbacks to the said lobby, unquote. Obviously, it's very early days. This is not really a comment on the merits of the case, Mr. Sundaram, but the fact is that there is at least a little bit, if not quite a bit, of proof that suggests that there was something odd, if not malign, about the intentions. So what do you believe is happening here? Is this persecution, or is this part of the process and he would have been summoned in due course?
Well, a lot of issues arise out of this. Number one, the general feeling that all is not all right, there is something rotten in the state of Denmark, is really felt, because this liquor policy and the scam behind it is something which many people believe has a great deal of truth to it. And so nobody is really questioning the fact that there is an inquiry into it or an investigation into it. People feel, I believe, that this is necessary because corruption, wherever it may be, must be stemmed. Having said that, why is it that this entire aura is coming up about the investigation, whether it's persecution or not? Because frankly, the CBI in India is not a respected body. The CBI is not the FBI of the United States, known to be an independent, strong body. The CBI is not the CID of England. The CBI is nothing but another tool which is controlled, and the CBI does what the master says. There is no independence and nobody respects the CBI. It is because of that that so many questions are being asked. The fact of the matter is that the scam is such that needs to be investigated. The fact of the matter is that the chief minister can in fact be inquired with, and in this case he's been given the summons as a witness. And well, I would have felt that since it's the chief minister, you want to question him as a witness, you need not have called him over to CBI. The CBI officer has the power to go to the chief minister's office, sit with him and question him as a witness. Very fact he has been called in is something which augurs something a little more serious than that. That from that the feeling is that they're not looking at him purely only as a witness. They are seeing him potentially as a person who could be a person of interest. Well, that is where it goes. And I feel an inquiry is definitely called for into the scam. I feel also that to talk to the chief minister, to inquire with him, is but natural. I believe he need not have been summoned to the CBI office. He could have always been inquired with. The fact that he's being summoned to the CBI office seems to indicate to me that the CBI seems to feel they have something which indicates his personal possibility of his personal culpability. But having said all that, I think all this is coming up only because at some stage the CBI must clean its own image and not be thought of as a caged parrot. It's a caged parrot. It was always, the Supreme Court called it a caged parrot, and it's done nothing to redeem its image and continues to be a caged parrot, which is why there is no belief in the CBI.
But without passing any judgment really on the merits of this case, it will have to be said that the enforcement agencies and the CBI investigative agencies, viewers, don't enjoy credibility in the public eye. And of course, there will be partisans who will support one particular party who will say, look, they're doing their job and they're doing a very good job. But generally speaking, and I know that there is a folly to generalize, but nonetheless, generally speaking, one always thinks the worst before first giving them the benefit of doubt. And I want to open this up because this is very important. And I also want to quickly go back to Bhavtosh. Excuse me, Bhavtosh, Sanjeev Srivastava also there with us, Dr. Ranganathan, senior, a very senior commentator, Mr. Hegde with us also. And of course, we also have the Bharatiya Janata Party's representative, Vineet Goenka, who's a spokesperson with us. So, but first, Meghna, let's just quickly go across to Bhavtosh and get a sense really of the direction in which this probe is headed. Now, Bhavtosh, several individuals have already been questioned. Some are in custody of either agency. This entire Liquorgate scandal, many people say, arose simply because they picked the wrong policy. Would it be fair to say that? Or do you believe that there is a certain degree of malign intent in the implementation of this policy? Perhaps there was even money exchanged.
Well, as far as the then excise policy 2021-2022 is concerned, the reference note in this case was given by the Lieutenant Governor, Mr. Saxena. Then the complaint went to Ministry of Home Affairs, and the CBI was given the task to investigate this case. It does not stop with the complaint that was given to the Lieutenant Governor. CBI went beyond that. They investigated their own case, and Mr. Kejriwal has been called in for questioning is because he heads the cabinet. Now, this is not the first time that the Chief Minister has been called in for questioning. Remember, Rahul, that even Manmohan Singh was, his statement was also recorded in the Liqour Scam, and there have been instances in which people have been called in and questioned only because they are heading the cabinet, and in these circumstances or in these reasons why Mr. Kejriwal has been called in and his statement is being recorded. While Kejriwal does not head any ministry in Delhi, the fact is that he was a person who looked into affairs of the group of ministers, though it's a different matter that both the ministers of the group of ministers are now behind bars. Satyendra Jain, in a case of money laundering, and in case of Mr. Sisodia, he was arrested by Central Bureau of Investigation and then later by the Enforcement Directorate. What has happened is the fact that both the agencies have said that the bribe amount of the alleged kickbacks directly went to Aam Aadmi Party, not to any individual, and that money was used to fight elections. That's how
on that
the charges
point,
have been
Bhavtosh, the response from the Aam Aadmi Party is, show us the money. You haven't seized even a rupee. Where is the money? How is it has not been recovered? You have seen from an MLA, a BJP MLA in Karnataka, cash being recovered, which many say is a direct indictment of that person. But where is the cash? Where is this money that has been paid back in kickbacks? That's the question.
Well, as far as the allegations are concerned, what the agencies have said is that the kickbacks were paid over a period of time, and that the 100 crore rupees kickback that have been paid, it was paid through shell companies, and the money was then used to fight elections in Goa. They have found at least a part of that money. It was paid through advertising firm, Chariot Advertising.
Okay, a slight audio problem there.
Has also been
I think,
arrested.
Bhavtosh, you were
now
saying
they have
that
said
some parts of that money has been recovered. Can you just elaborate? You just dipped out for a few moments. I know that there is a jammer in the area, so that's going to interfere with the signals. But you were saying something very interesting there. Part of the money has been recovered, you were saying.
What they have said is that 100 crore rupees, 100 crore money that was in fact paid as a kickback, that 100 crore rupee was in fact paid to the party itself, not to any individual. In fact, we are joined by my colleague Nilashish. Nilashish, you have attended various court hearings, and in those court hearings, both ED and CBI have not said money was given to any individual. The money through Dinesh Arora went to Vijay Nair and then to Aam Aadmi Party. Can you elaborate what has happened in the court hearing?
Absolutely. As far as the agencies are concerned, we have been seeing the arguments presented before the court, wherein the CBI had also stated very clearly that there were certain meetings that took place, even as far as Sameer Mahindru is concerned, the director of Indospirit, wherein there was a video call that took place as far as Arvind Kejriwal is concerned, and therein after the 100 crore kickback that was slated to alleged to have been paid off was for the party, for Aam Aadmi Party in itself, and there were various aspects of the South group, as the agencies have called it, wherein money was deposited to the Aam Aadmi Party, and from there kickbacks were made as far as the South group is concerned. The court was also informed on a number of occasions that there was a meeting that took place where in the presence of Manish Sisodia, as has been alleged by the central agency, in his presence, Arvind Kejriwal was at Arvind Kejriwal's residence. There was the draft copy of the excise policy at that time that was purported to be placed before the Council of Ministers. That in that meeting, the margin of profit was increased from 5 to 12%. It's very important to note that at this point, Arvind Kejriwal is not an accused, but his name has come a couple of times in the remand notes, and therein after he has been called for questioning, not as an accused as of now, but it will be very significant to note how the questioning goes forward as far as the Delhi CM is concerned.
Okay.
Rahul, the question here before Arvind Kejriwal is that he's not only the chief minister, but he's also the national convener or the head of Aam Aadmi Party, and that's the allegation is that Aam Aadmi Party received the kickbacks, not an individual has received the kickbacks,
right,
unlike other LS scams. But here the money was taken by the Aam Aadmi Party, and then that's how the draft excise policy was made.
Well, let me tell you, viewers, that Bhavtosh has been covering the CBI, the agencies, crime in general for now almost 2 decades. He's written a book. He is not prone to getting hyper excited. He is going to maintain a tempo which is very, very, very fastidious to the facts, viewers. So he is going to tell you everything as is represented and not presumed. And that's very important. So when he speaks, viewers, pay attention because it's very important. And when the court speaks, viewers, of course, that is important too. And let me give you another excerpt from this particular order, an order that was passed denying Mr. Sisodia bail. And it's important, Meghna, that we put it out there so our viewers also know that bare bones of this story. And I want to bring in Dr. Ranganathan as well as, of course, Sanjay Hegde, Senior Advocate of the Supreme Court. These are important voices this morning. Now, the court said that Sisodia, through AAP Communication Chief Vijay Nair, quote, was in contact with the South lobby and formulation of a favorable policy for them was being ensured at every cost, and a cartel was permitted to be formed to achieve monopoly in sale of certain liquor brands against the very objectives of the policy. Thus, as per allegations made by the prosecution and evidence collected in support, the applicant can prima facie be held to be the architect of the said criminal conspiracy, unquote. Now, all of this is not to say that the court has passed judgment, viewers. It is recording what it sees and then perhaps coming to certain prima facie conclusions. This doesn't mean that Sisodia is guilty. There's a long process. The reason I'm is to tell you that there is some basis for the questioning, Dr. Ranganathan. I'm not here trying to suggest that these people are guilty and therefore they deserve their lot in life. That's not the idea. I'm just trying to explain to the viewer the reason why this questioning is taking place. Number one, is it important that this questioning takes place of Arvind Kejriwal, doctor? Number two, most importantly, this question of, persecution versus process. When will this go away?
Good morning, Rahul. It's been a pretty busy Sunday. I think we're just moving from the ridiculous to the sublime. There are 3 issues here, and let me delve into them very briefly, one by one. Number one, you're absolutely right. Of course, the court and the honorable judge has not proclaimed Manish Sisodia guilty. but he has actually written, and these are not just remarks through his voice. This is a written 34-page order, parts of which that you've read out, and of course this is the headlines. He denied bail, saying that prima facie Manish Sisodia was the architect behind this whole conspiracy of embezzling 90 to 100 crores. So this is, number one, a serious matter. For AAP spokespersons and leaders to take it so lightly and to protest on the streets and do dharna is frankly unacceptable, especially because I'm hearing remarks from, like, for example, Mr. Raghav Chadha, who's a Rajya Sabha MP. He's just compared, he said Arvind Kejriwal is the modern day Mahatma Gandhi. If that be the case, it doesn't augur very well for the country, to be honest. But does he even know that Mahatma Gandhi was dead against alcohol? And he said if there is a choice between banning education and banning liquor, he will go for banning liquor, prefer it. And in the case of Arvind Kejriwal, he's opened a liquor store at every corner in Delhi. So the comparison ends there. Number two, and this is very important, the fact of the matter is that if the court has denied bail to Mr. Sisodia, if the court is saying that the embezzlement is to the tune of 90 to 100 crores, it is beyond the realm of speculation that Arvind Kejriwal or many of other ministers, AAP minister, would be in the know. At least it's worth questioning them. So why are people saying that he should not be questioned? Of course he should be questioned. And as far as Mr. Kejriwal saying that I was an income tax commissioner or IRS officer and I am beyond corruption, let me also delve into that fact. It was Mr. Kejriwal who said, when one very upright IAS officer, Mr. Khemka, was transferred for the 43rd time, Mr. Kejriwal said that the hallmark of you being an honest officer is the number of transfers you have. Now, will Mr. Kejriwal tell how many times he was transferred when he was the IRS? Not even once, if I'm mistaken. Does that, do I assume logically that he is not he's corrupt? Number two, and here I want to come in, and I really admire, one of the reasons why I really admire Mr. Aryama Sundaram is, he is absolutely right, and I have said it from day one. The CBI is not independent. It remains a caged parrot, just that the shoulder on which the parrot is perched has changed. The double standards was the public object to, notwithstanding the fact that 95% of everyone who's been investigated by the CBI investigative agencies are non-BJP. I don't mind Kejriwal being interrogated by the CBI, but can I please ask Mr. Patwa? Mr. Patwa from MP, of the few BJP leaders who are being investigated and by the CBI and other investigative agencies, Mr. Patwa is one. He was charged by the CBI. Can I please ask the CBI why the Chief Minister of Madhya Pradesh was not interrogated? You have Mr. There is another. I forget the name of the person in Maharashtra, BJP leader, accused of embezzling to the tune of 67 crores. Why was it Mr. Fadnavis wasn't called by the CBI? You have Mr. PVR Sarma from Gujarat. He is under the lens of CBI and ED. He's been investigated. Why is it that the current Chief Minister of Gujarat, Mr. Patel, has not been called for interrogation? So the public sees through this. Okay. If you're calling Kejriwal, of course call him. But then don't have double standards. Call the other leaders as well, because if you believe that Kejriwal would be in the know-how, why is it that the BJP chief ministers of other states, BJP states, would not be in the know-how when their leaders are under lens?
Well, this is very important, Dr. Ranganathan. You know, the public perception can sometimes speak for itself and cloud the judgment of the agency. Very simple fix, viewers. It's very simple. Make them autonomous, and it can easily be done with a few fixes. You don't need much. You don't need much. But, viewers, that will not happen. Let me tell you, that will not happen, and I can say it to you with authority. Also, of course, Mr. Goenka, and, you know, Dr. Ranganathan, you were struggling with a few names. You just have to go. Open the newspaper. Yeah, open the newspaper. Just open the newspaper. And 2 days back, we were told that, oh, certain politicians, sitting politicians, have been denied tickets in Karnataka because they're corrupt by the BJP. Well, if they're corrupt, then why are they out? Why are they not being produced before X or Y, investigative agency? I'm sure they can tamper with evidence, etc., etc. They're powerful people. So hypocrisy on corruption, viewers, and even Mr. Goenka can't help himself. He's smiling wryly because even he knows.
Smiling.
But the point is, viewers, the point is, and this is really where we need to focus our attention. We can have that larger debate on the independence of the CBI. The point is that there is something, as Mr. Sundaram was saying, something amiss the state of Denmark. I've butchered Hamlet, but nonetheless, the point is that there is a reason, a raison d'etre, as you can suggest it is, to summon Mr. Kejriwal, and I sort of differ with him to say that he should be sort of, treated like an VIP and that the CBI should go to his office, etc., or to his home to question him. I think this is all fair and fine. It's good to see everything happening in the public lab before the cameras. Sometimes it's not, viewers, as we know. And Dr. Ranganathan, I have to say that I am in danger of spending every waking hour with you over the last 15. And that doesn't bode very well for either of us. So let's just hope that this moment passes.
My wife doesn't complain.
No, on that I don't think there's much to fear. But yes, we might in our moment say something indiscreet, which is what perhaps out of exhaustion may be held against us by everyone. But let me just bring in Sanjay Hegde. Sanjay Hegde, this is an important moment, pivotal moment, some people say. You see the Aam Aadmi Party out there. Every notable of the Aam Aadmi Party is out there. There are opposition parties that are banding together. The CBI has done anything in this country. It has surpassed Rahul Gandhi in uniting the opposition. Even Rahul Gandhi, Mamata Banerjee, the TRS chief have not achieved what the CBI has done. And that's sometimes good for democracy. But let me just come out to you. And this is a question. Are we today to assume that there is not even a reason to summon Mr. Kejriwal? And that all of this, even the mere summoning of him, is an outrage. Should we be taking it that far also?
Well, let's put it this way. He's not been the first chief minister to have been summoned. I remember that under the Supreme Court orders, the then chief minister of Gujarat, currently the prime minister, was also summoned.
Sure.
At the end of the day, what happened?
Jayalalitha was also, as we know.
No, Jayalalitha was different. Jayalalitha was tried, convicted. Okay, so she stands apart. As far as the Prime Minister in Gujarat as Chief Minister, or Mr. Kejriwal, right now they've been summoned there as witnesses to find out what they know. Where does the case go from here? It is yet to be. It is yet to culminate in a charge sheet. What you had quoted from the bail order, you must remember, is just for the purposes of denying bail.
Sure.
Though the Supreme Court has time and again said, don't make any observations which would have an impact on the trial. And that bail order is yet to be tested in the Supreme Court, which I'm sure it will be. Today, Mr. Kejriwal has been summoned to the headquarters. There were more ways than one. There could have been a neutral venue, neither the Chief Minister's house nor the headquarters. There were temporary camp offices in the Gujarat case, if I remember rightly. So there are ways of doing it. And you and I, Rahul, go a long way back.
Yeah.
I think at least 10, 15 years ago, I told you that the Central Bureau of Investigation is indeed the Central Bureau of Investigation. Whoever is in the center controls it. So it's just like that. And crucially, there is a judgment of the Guwahati High Court which strikes down the existence of the Central Bureau of Investigation. That matter is pending in appeal before the Supreme Court. Neither has it been heard, nor has the government done anything to get it heard.
Yeah.
Nor has the government moved to put the Central Bureau on a more permanent statutory basis. So you speak of giving it independence.
Yeah.
The first step would be to define it by an act of parliament.
Sure. I mean, look, we'll speak about the CBI and what ails it and the ED a little later. The purpose, of course, of this conversation is to assess whether Mr. Kejriwal is being summoned because there is a malign intent, a political intent, or whether there is due process being followed and there is a need. And I think on that, there is some... yeah, you were saying, Mr. Hegde. Yeah.
You could have completed the investigation. You could have investigated the man. You could have interrogated him. But summoning him is for media purposes, both of the CBI as well as of the party itself.
Okay, let me say one thing, because I have to play out
more than one purpose.
Mr. Kejriwal's soundbite that has come in, presumably just before he went in. Now, viewers, look, I would be remiss to not point out that the CBI has a pretty high conviction rate. Since that issue was brought up by Mr. Hegde, that conviction rate remains pretty high and convincing. So the CBI, usually when it makes a case, makes a strong one. And this is true of more than 2/3 of the cases that it tries or takes to trial. Number two, the CBI will tell you, the Enforcement Directorate will tell you that of all the cases they file in a year, a very few, about 2 or 3%, are against politicians. So politicians still enjoy a disproportionate amount of allowance, even though if you look through all the state legislature lists, viewers, more than 30% on an average in the big states of India, the legislators there are or have either serious criminal cases or cases that need to be addressed very quickly, slapped against their name. So it's not as if there are very innocent people sitting in our legislatures who are really the template of honesty, etc. There's a lot that goes on there. I mean, if an Atiq Ahmed could have been a member of parliament as well as, of course, an MLA, then viewers, you know what I'm talking about. And I just want to play out this soundbite of Mr. Kejriwal.
ये लोग धमकी दे रहे हैं कि केजरीवाल को जेल में भेज देंगे। भेज दो, जरूर भेजो। इससे क्या होगा? देश की समस्याएं दूर हो जाएंगी। केजरीवाल को जेल में भेजने से सबको रोजगार मिल जाएगा, सबको शिक्षा मिल जाएगी? नहीं ना। हाँ, आपके अहंकार की संतुष्टि जरूर हो जाएगी। प्रधानमंत्री जी, अगर केजरीवाल भ्रष्ट है तो दुनिया का कोई आदमी ईमानदार नहीं है। केजरीवाल देश के लिए जीता है और देश के लिए मरेगा। आप मुझे 100 बार सीबीआई ईडी बुलाओगे तो मैं 100 बार जाऊंगा। आप हम भारत के लोगों को परेशान कर सकते हैं, पर अब आप भारत को रोक नहीं पाओगे।
Well, viewers, let me just quickly rattle off some stats for you. As I was saying, 70% conviction strike rate by the CBI, but critics will, of course, continue to call it cage because they will say the overwhelming number of cases are filed against the opposition. Mr. Goenka is here with us. 69.8 overall conviction rate, 69.8 conviction rate in just 2020, 69.1% conviction rate in 2019. It's a CBI affidavit in the Supreme Court filed on October 2021. Interestingly, 8 states run by the opposition have withdrawn general consent between 2018 to 21 to the CBI from investigating. Now, that is a question that also needs to be asked. If you have a clean pair of heels, it'll be nice if you show them, because there's nothing like, viewers, coming out of an exercise such as this. Now, viewers, I'm just changing focus. Mr. Goenka, just stay on with me. There is an update